thanks to those of you who did tune in tonight. It was our first show back. Was it rough? Yes. Could it have gone better? Probably not. I'm not much of one for the pre-planning, but I'll tell you what, there is some pre-planning that is going to be happening as we have time for interviews coming up. And those always require pre-planning as far as questions and etc. etc. So um, we are just starting the post show now. I'm gonna be showing off a very super cool Ouija board that I have. It's actually I think from 1920. I think is the year that it's from. I got it off eBay. I had been wanting an original William Fold board for like such a long time. I collect Ouija boards. I don't use them. I mean, I used to, of course. I used to play with Ouija boards when I was younger. I had some crazy experiences with Ouija boards. Really, really crazy experiences. Some good, some bad, you know. But um, that I just stopped playing them, and now I collect them. I think I have about 16 boards now, and don't mind the clicking as I just do some post-show wrap-upness. I have, of course, the main board, the main Parker's brother board, but I also have some older boards, which I'm super proud of. Actually, during Coffee with the Dead tonight, I got a request. Um, well, indirect request, I guess. I got a question about Ouija boards, and that led me into talking about, this really cool board that I have, and I decided I would do the post show on that versus just kind of like rehashing everything that happened on the show. Those of you who maybe didn't get a chance to listen to us tonight on Coffee with the Dead, that's available. It'll be archived. You can go to blogtalkradio.com / Coffee with the Dead, and you can listen there. And you can also see the archive of the Facebook Live broadcast that we did on my page. You can go to facebook.com / ParaAnne Haunts. So all of that goodness will be there. And in the meantime, I am just recapping around the interwebs, links and all that fun stuff. So those of you who follow me wherever it is that you may follow me on, whether it's Spirits Wake, Coffee with the Dead, my direct ParaAnne page, any of the Twitters, which have the same names, you will be able to have links now to go back and watch the show, listen to the show, um, and all of that. Let's see. So this post show now is happening. My second Facebook, YouTube live. So those of you who are in, I think I got 3 people in here now. That's cool. session. Simply put, how do you use one? So, what session are you talking about there? Hey, Teresa. Oh yeah, I saw both of you guys were over listening to Coffee with the Dead. So what are you talking about there, Dover? Are you just talking about the boards still? Like when I use them? Just go post up on the Twitter. Ouija. Yeah, I don't use them anymore. I don't really recommend it unless you really know what you're doing. Um, Definitely would never ever use one for an investigation. That's just not the way you do that. Like provoking and trying to force entities out. It's just I think that's kind of what Ouija boards do, and I just don't believe in that. I don't think that's how you're gonna probably end up with like a something negative there. But if you are going to use one, definitely do your research first, get educated, and um, don't watch any of the movies. Don't follow whatever you've ever seen on TV. That's never going to tell you the right way to do things. But when you get a Ouija board, definitely the first thing you do, even if it's a historical board and you want to preserve all the energy that came with it, and you really want it to be pure. Still, like the first thing you do when you get any kind of Ouija board, absolutely, is cleanse it. And to cleanse a board, I would suggest that you use sea salt and that you sprinkle it on the top of the board as well as on the back of the board, and so you put it on the front of, put the salt on the top of the board, and just rub your hands on it to rub it all around on the board, and then flip the board over on the back, spin the board clockwise once, and then flip it back. Also do that when you're in a salt circle. And when you're done doing that part of it, always sweep the salt. Either if you can't sweep it directly outside, put it in a dustpan. Don't sweep it through other rooms or other areas, like sweep it directly into a dustpan and then throw it out to the wind, the salt out to the wind, just because like any badness is gonna absorb into the salt, and then you'll get rid of it that way. Um, but I would not. I mean, are you like Bill? Are you asking to use it during an investigation? Like how you go about doing that? What exactly are your? Do you have like intentions for using a board yourself? Because I mean, like I said, I've had some pretty crazy things happening. Just not even thinking that I would ever actually like have anything happen. Oh, you just want to see a session done? Well, the only thing I can tell you there is like just look up other videos for it where they may be. If you just want to watch people using the board, there's a ton of videos out there. You can check that out even here on YouTube. But I wouldn't actually think that too much was really gonna come of it, just from watching it yourself. Like, some people believe that if you are watching any kind of paranormal event, then like you're going to be somehow like invoking that, that energy into your house, into your life somehow. so you're asking how would you know like when a session is done properly? Well, because you can tell if the people who are using the board are serious or if they're just like goofing off. Um, like pretty much if you see them like drop the camera and run out all like Blair Witch style, then it's like okay, they're just setting it up. They have it like, planned out ahead of time. But there's somewhere, actually, look up like seances. There's a lot of interesting videos on seances. And if the people there are taking it seriously, then it's probably going to be boring. Like, okay, how many investigations have you done where, like, nothing happens until you go back and review your evidence? And then you hear something or see something at that point, right? So, I don't know how many, given that thought into it, how many, of these Ouija board videos would actually be like legit. But um you've actually okay, so you said you've actually had a few uh investigations where things have happened during investigating. Hmm. See, I haven't. I've had well, okay, I've had a couple where I've been able to like I've heard music a couple of times. Always get music during my investigations. Like that's when I'll hear it, and it doesn't always get recorded. Like I could be hearing music in the same room that I'm in, but it won't record. Or like I'll get it recorded, but I hadn't heard it. So it's always something weird like that with me. And it always has something to do with music. Um, but for the most part, I find with my investigations, it's always after the fact when I go back and am, reviewing everything. That's when I'll catch stuff that didn't actually happen during my investigation. And that's kind of what I'm saying with like the Ouija board videos is just that all they have there is um, the video camera. That's all they have at the time. So they're not really doing like a full out investigation. So they don't have they don't have their EMF going. They don't have K2 meters. They don't even have like a separate audio recorder. It's just a lot of these videos that you're gonna see are mobile devices. You know, and it's a lot harder, I guess, or well, I guess maybe a lot. It's more rare to get your paranormal activity picked up on a mobile device rather than having like your separate recorder that's not also recording your video. I find that at least when I do my investigations that when I'm recording like my video recorder, it could be like right next to my audio recorder, but like the video won't pick up the same audio as the separate recorder. It's more sensitive because it's only doing one thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these Ouija board videos that you might find online, they're just recorded through one device that's doing both, recording video and audio. And so like the chances of actually seeing anything or hearing anything paranormal in that are pretty low. Um, but that doesn't mean that they're not real videos and that the people in them aren't using the boards properly. It just means like it's not. It might just be like a boring video. It might not really show any proof of anything or back up anything that they're talking about. If they're talking about feelings they're having or like anything they're hearing. Like there's no proof of that in the video because just the device that they're using to record with isn't picking it up. So it's hard to tell what's really real and what isn't, except for like when it's super obvious, like if they try to make it look like Blair Witch, or if they're just laughing the whole time, or something like that. So it's always one of those things that it's like, well, unless you were there, how do you really know? But I'm just talking about the Ouija boards in that case, like watching the videos of those, or even seance videos. It's super hard to tell when it's like faked or not, unless, like I said, unless they're just like way over the top being ridiculous about it. So you said you have had things happen that you hear, but only record one or. Yeah, that's what I was trying to like. Yeah, that was really similar to what I was saying earlier. Like, I'll hear something, but it won't be on my digital recorder at all, or like I'll hear something on the recorder that I don't make note of, because when you hear something, typically during an investigation, you say out loud, "Oh, I just heard a whisper," you know. So it's like a bookmark when you go back and listen to your recording. So sometimes I hear things on my recorder and there's no audio bookmark there saying, "Oh, I heard a whisper," and nobody else in the group with me has made audio note of having heard anything. But sometimes they do match up. I'm kind of like a EVP magnet, which is it's useful, I suppose, but it's also like, okay, like, can I get any other kind of evidence here, or is it all just audio? Sometimes it's like you need the visual to back up the audio. Like, oh, did you get a picture of it at all? Like, no, I just got this audio recording. Oh, well, that could be a million different things. It could be traffic going by. It could have been like, maybe someone forgot to leave an audio bookmark. Like, it could be so many things. But yeah, I've definitely had that happen where like one device gets it but the other doesn't. And for me, it's always been a matter of like, well, the video recorder doesn't get the noise that the digital tape recorder gets, and I'm just like, well, oh, that makes sense, because it's doing two things. It's doing video and audio, so the sensitivity on it is divided, and it can't focus equally on video and audio. Like it can't, um, but the individual like audio recorders just on their own are great and do pick up things a lot, because that's all it's doing is looking for the audio. So you say most of the time audio is all that you get. Yeah, I know. Like, so what are your feelings on orbs? Because that's always a topic that comes up when we start to talk about pictures. And I definitely have my own opinions on that, but it's interesting to see what other people have to say too. Yeah, personal experiences we all have, and those, it's like so much more happens than we're ever able to document. I mean, I don't know if it's just a matter of it being like in our heads kind of thing, where um, if you have like a sixth sense, you're going to experience things differently than others, or if it's more of a thing of like it's just bring back to the table with anything. But let's see. So you say you think it's so you think orbs are dust a lot. Yeah, but there are real ones. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, okay. And if you see them with your eyes, right? Yeah, some of them do kind of glow. But what about like um the ones you don't see that you only get in pictures? You know, the those again. I think that goes back to it can't be um it can't be like analyzed from anyone who wasn't there to experience it themselves, right? Because you could take a picture and say, you know, oh, there were no bugs, or there were no, you know, it really wasn't a human night or anything, and you know, unless you were there yourself, you wouldn't really know if what was in the picture was real or not. Well, they don't always have to produce infrared light, right? Because what about so many of these photos you see that are just taken with standard DSLRs or phone cameras? They're not all taken with um, IR cameras, like even by people who aren't out there expecting to find anything paranormal, people who don't even believe, coming back with these pictures that they took with regular flash. And see, if it's producing any kind of light that an infrared flash can pick up, then you would almost think that it has to be some sort of solid or, well, some sort of physical object. So in that case, it must be a bug or dust. It couldn't be uh, anything paranormal, right? Because it's not a, a, a paranormal thing like an actual like orb as we think of them. It's not really a physically existing thing. It's kind of like this phenomena where we get to see between the veils on things, right? You know, for the technical definition of an orb, it's kind of like that slip between time. So there's no way that a camera should be able to pick that up. So we should never see pictures of orbs if you're only using an infrared camera. But now with your standard like DSLRs or your mobile phone cameras, I don't know, right? That's a little different because that's more like looking through the human eye than an infrared camera, right? Because there's less being washed out in that sense, maybe when you take your picture because of the way that the light is. So yeah, how do you tell the difference? Who knows? Because there's never been a real documented case of a paranormal orb, right? Um, they get written off way too easily as just dust or all kinds of other things. I've seen ones that have texture to them, or they seem to almost have like that egg yolk effect where like the center is a smaller circle that looks more white or more solid, and then there's a outer circle that's very transparent. And to me, I'm almost like, well, that compared to just seeing like this blurry white dot is very different to me. And when you think of a ball of energy, what would that look like? So I go back and think about like when you see certain lightning strikes. You know, there's like balls of lightning is a type of lightning strike that it looks like it's in a ball. So that's energy. Electricity is energy. And I think about how those look in photos, and then go back and compare it to some orb photos, and it's like, no, it's not the right dispersal. So even if that orb is something paranormal, the It's not electric. It's, we're looking at something else. Yeah, faith versus science, indeed. Yeah, the ones that have solid color. Yeah, well, yeah, because like not all of them are white. Even I've seen ones, you name it. It's been colors, but the colors have never been like really super solid when I've seen them. Like no dark colors. It's always been kind of like a airy kind of coloring to them. But I've seen orbs without taking pictures of them too. Like I lived in um, the Virginia Beach area of Virginia for a while, and I saw there were these two white balls of light. Um, and they were solid white balls. They didn't like flash or, you know, they weren't glowing. It was just these white balls, and they chased each other in this triangle pattern from the backyard across the street up to the corner of the neighbor's fence back into my yard. And I would watch this over the summer, and it would go on for about an hour, and it would start late at night, and it always started around the same time. So I don't know about, things like that, what that could be. I've heard that lightning bugs, like they mate in groups and they can look like balls of light, but it wasn't blinking like lightning bugs would do. It was solid white, and it was like, good size. Like, I don't know, like, but so that one I don't understand what that was. That was a different kind of orb, I guess. We don't know enough um, about the non-science part of life, to really understand everything. There is like this phenomena. It's naturally occurring because of like the gases in the area, though. Somewhere up north, I can't remember where, but it's like near like a park or a part of an area of train tracks or something. I think it might be a park where like, these lights glow, and some people think it's ghosts. Some people call them gas lights. Um, it's just a naturally occurring thing, and same like with swamp gas, it can glow and look very orbish. But as far as seeing these white dots, just like in my backyard when I'm in a neighborhood, and only um, it was only for like a week period. I don't think it was even like the whole summer. But uh, what was that? Like, I don't understand seeing those like orb things and just like in my backyard. Now, if I was near like some sort of like outgassing area or a swamp, like maybe I could relate it to a natural phenomena. But I don't know. I don't know. There wasn't a lot that happened in the house that I lived in. I mean, I always got the feeling like there was something watching me in the hallway, but never like saw anything or heard noises. Never anything like that. It wasn't like I felt like the house was like haunted. It was just that experience, the one couple of nights, seeing the balls. So orbs are real. I mean, there's definitely paranormal orbs. Not all of them can be written off as just dust or humidity or bugs or lens flare or all the other things that so many people say orbs really are. But definitely, if you show me a picture of orbs, I'm gonna say, so what? Like I'll be like, okay, like that doesn't mean that anything is going on. Like you didn't catch a ghost. I don't. I'm gonna tell you that your picture means nothing, and it probably is a bunch of bugs, because I wasn't there, and that just there's too much else. It's way too easy that to debunk that. Otherwise, there will always be Yeah, exactly. Um, I'm always a critic first before anything else. So unless I experience it myself, I'm gonna say maybe it's a possibility. I have no idea unless I've had the experience myself, because people have some elaborate stories over the years that have came up in the world of paranormal, and it's a contagious idea. So we get these very common experiences, and people know how it goes, how it starts. So you hear a person's voice and you turn around but nothing's there. You know, all these stories are told so similar to each other that it's like too easy to say that you've had a paranormal experience even if you haven't, or it's too easy to think that something is happening when it isn't, because all these stories go the same way. So unless you have that experience yourself and know for sure that like there's no way to debunk it, no other factors, then just listening to someone tell you a story about something spooky that happened to them, it's like very easy to just say, "Oh, I don't believe you." So, um, post show is about over. Be here for like another 15 minutes, I guess. But I just want to thank you guys, Teresa and Bill, right? I think that's your name. Because you're just in here as Dover Paratech. Um, but thank you guys for coming in. And to anyone who does happen to catch this video after the fact, after it airs, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing this every Sunday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time will be a YouTube live broadcast of Coffee with the Dead, which is my paranormal discussion podcast. And every Sunday from 7 to 8, and then 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time will be the pre-show and post-show broadcasts. So just subscribe to this channel. You definitely see the pre and post shows live, and then you'll see I'll post links, or not links. I'll post the actual Facebook live stream in here as well. And you can always get a hold of me through email, ParaAnne at spiritswake.com, and Facebook. You can find me through Coffee with the Dead or ParaAnne Haunts. I'm also on the Twitters at Real ParaAnne, at CWTD Official. So it's Coffee with the Dead abbreviated official, or at Spirits Wake. There are always places to find me. Tons of them. I am super easy to get a hold of. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but it is how it is. At least subscribe to the YouTube channel though. I'm really trying to experiment with the fan base here, if there is one, if it's worth continuing to do the pre and post shows and all that junk. So the more subscribers I get, the more I will broadcast here. Otherwise, maybe I'll just stick to the Facebook Live type of thing. So I got a couple more minutes here. If there are any other final questions, but you know what? I should show you guys the Ouija board that I was talking about earlier. Probably, right? I mean, I have it right here next to me. Might as well. So, I think I was saying I got this off eBay, and this is what really keyed me in. It says the patents on here. Yeah, it says 1920 and 1915. So, there's a U.S. patent 1915, and then the Canadian patent. I said that backwards. The U.S. patent was 1920, and the Canadian patent was 1915. So, um, listed as being like a 1908 board, I think, but the planchette told me otherwise. And also, this isn't a US one, it's Canadian. Otherwise, I don't know why the Canadian patent would be on there. And the actual board itself is super cool. All this original black painting on there, with the original swirly S logo there. And then says, I love the stamp on the bottom too. It says made by William Fuld, Baltimore, Maryland, USA. And Baltimore is right here. I am pretty much in Baltimore, so another reason why this board is so neat to me. And it has the directions for how to use the board still stamped into the back. Yeah, for best results, here is what you do. And it's funny because there's like broken English, not broken English, well, I guess incorrect grammar. There's like so many typos and stuff on here. Because there was like no review process for these boards when they were made. They were just done however and then sent out. So there's like words missing where there should be words, and there's like no commas, no periods anywhere. It's just this stream of paragraphs of what to do. And then the real selling point for that board was that it came with the original boxes. And it says the Egyptian luck board was what these were originally called. The Ouija is so to do the pronunciation. And Egyptian luck board, William Fuld. This is the box for the planchette. And then I got also the box for the board itself, which is like just about in pieces, but yeah, at least I have it and I can get it into a shadow box and preserve it before it falls apart too much more. I love the artwork on it too. So neat. Seeing all that old-timey originalness. And then the back of the box, it has this girl, she wrote Emily Alexander all over the back, like in different directions and in different ways. I don't know if it was her name or maybe she asked that infamous question of who will I marry when I grow up, and that was what the board told her. I don't know, but that is written all over the back of it. So that about wraps up the post show. Thanks again to you guys, Teresa and Bill from Dover Paratech, who did log in and watch live, and anyone who watches afterwards when it's no longer live. Thanks in advance for tuning in, and just remember to subscribe and check back with me next week. We'll be doing it all over again, so thanks again, guys.